I'll be honest, one of the things I really like about anime is when they have brother dynamics and the one brother has a really big mind, thinks he's a big hotshot, and then you just have like some sort of authority figure, whether it's an actual brother, a father, the mentor, the person keeping you in line comes in and says, stand down. And you're thinking, wow, I thought this character was a badass, but then I realized that he can be basically whipped the same as any other character in this series. That stuff always cracks me up, but then also escalates a sequence that we just thought was already pretty insane into something that seems absolutely batshit wild, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, this episode ends on probably, honestly, I would say the funniest moment of the series to date, and you may be saying, what do you mean? How does this end serious? We see our boy walk through the gates, he's looking like a badass, his clothes melting off, it looks all angelic / demonic, all warped into one. How could that be funny? Because we're about to see an execution. Our boy got there in the nick of time. Watch after the credits. Oh, wrong room. And then he parts away, and I'm like, either our boy just got executed, or this took place before the so-called execution, and he still will get there in the nick of time. But that's hilarious. The fact that they were able to accomplish such a creative way to make the series funny after such a polarizingly emotional sequence. That's something really only Noblesse can do, and I have to compliment it. The comedy balance between serious and then goofy hasn't always been picture perfect, but that might be the most picture perfect joke I've seen in the show to date, and honestly, I wouldn't be complaining if they have another couple of jokes up their sleeve with the final episode next week. Originally, I thought this was going to be a 12-episode anime, so I'm really glad that I knew quickly after uploading the video last week that it was going to be 13 episodes, because if I was watching this episode assuming that it was 12 episodes, I would have been mad. But watching it knowing that it's technically still a setup to the final battle, and the battles that we are already seeing were insanely wild, this episode was exhilarating. I mean, the whole idea that they're actually seemingly committing to the father not taking up the current lord and actually wanting to give it to Hsieh, I thought what was going to happen, I mentioned in my last week's review, was that it was a misunderstanding, because that's what you typically see in a show like this, where it's like, oh, she misheard, probably was just a general conversation that wasn't supposed to be taken seriously, and they still could commit to that, don't get me wrong, but the fact that we have our boy on death's doorstep saying, like, you know, the only crime I committed was basically not treating and raising you correctly because clearly you were misguided, now execute me, basically. The fact that he fully admits to the entire room that it's not even just that apparently Hsieh killed the current lord, the reason she's like this is because she was never deemed worthy to be the lord. And I'm like, wow, are they actually going to commit to that? Because that's going to provide for a very interesting battle. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a battle. I would be kind of shocked if Rai and her didn't kind of duke it out. I actually thought the sword Ragnarok was going to be in Rai's hand. So the fact that she's using it seemingly to execute our old man friend here, I'm like, okay, this is not going where I thought so. And that's something I think Noblesse does a fairly good job at, is really twisting your expectations and doing something, honestly, usually better than what you were assuming. And even if you thought your idea was amazing and you're not really feeling the current one, there's generally going to be something there to appreciate about any given sequence of Noblesse, especially from the midway point onwards. I think just watching the numerous battles take place and how fluidly the pacing felt, there's a lot of characters on screen. There's like 3 or 4 perspectives we bounced around, but seeing each of the fights and seeing how they're all linking up, having a sniper in the trees with a computer hacker kind of doing his things, targeting, I imagine, is what he was doing, as you have our boy fighting for his life, and then you switch over, you're like, okay, here's the lord, and then here's Hsieh. Hsieh, I still love the idea of a protagonist who's more like a king rather than the central protagonist, and the entire cast is just as much a main character as him, where the king's only going to come to the battlefield when it's a last resort sort of a situation. So he wasn't really the main focus in the episode until towards the end. But just seeing the numerous personalities and just fights take place, and then seeing our boy Frankenstein, I think Frankenstein's my favorite character in this show. He's just a total tank. This man's a beast. He's an absolute beast. This man has such ferocity that he can turn someone who I thought was pretty powerful, and still is pretty powerful, but there's a lot of powerful things in the show, and just immediately will spike him to near death saying, I ain't playing around, we're gonna get this done very quick this time around. And I'm like, okay. Just seeing the abilities and just the soul weapons and the clashing, and just like when Frankenstein takes off the limiters, when Frankenstein goes all out, if he's given a time limit of 10 seconds to say, hey, your master's gonna die in 10 seconds if you don't get there in time, I feel like he could have the entire world targeted towards him and he would somehow find a way to kill everyone with 8 seconds to spare. He would do it in 2 seconds, I imagine. Like, obviously there's going to be people who can beat him, don't get me wrong, but the idea that a character who was like, oh, this is pretty cool, he's pretty powerful, wow, he's really powerful, to now he's a nuclear bomb, it's pretty insane to see how they're able to just slowly but surely, but honestly at a pretty quick pace, unlock his abilities and show what he's truly capable of. And wow, the fact that that's Frankenstein and not even Hsieh, it's like, that's kind of insane to me. I'm really interested to see how the show's going to conclude, because one, it's still uncertain, was there actually an execution, or is he going to get there in the nick of time? If there was an execution, that's going to be, I don't know how this will end good for her, to be honest. But if there hasn't been an execution, maybe there's a way for her to be honorable or be able to be the current lord, or is Hsieh going to take up the throne for himself? It's very hard to say what's going to happen because the characters have definitely changed. Regis have changed, Hsieh has changed. All these characters have changed by interacting with each other, and I think that's one of the more interesting aspects of this episode has going for it, is that the idea of change is very relevant. Some characters who are fighting our protagonists here are saying, like, you definitely have changed and don't want to fight, where others are just kind of following the orders. And the fact that you have a lord who's wanting to execute and kind of getting that disobedience, you can't do this, like, even if they have done this, this isn't the way, but still willing to stand up for them when the things are thrown in her face, like, you're the reason that this is happening because you're just a bad person who wanted the throne for yourself when it wasn't. So like there's this loyalty, but the loyalty has a lot of cracks in it. So depending on what happens with Hsieh, completely shatter. And if it does, I don't see how it's going to end good for the Lord. But then again, this is Noblesse. Anything can happen, and that's one of the things we really appreciate about it. I think I've only ever mentioned it once in the reviews, but the metal soundtrack, when you get those really good rock or metal riffs going, when you're getting into these explosive action sequences, that stuff is like everything to me. Rock and metal riffs are not going to be for every type of show, but I can't deny when we're in a big action set piece, I'd much rather a good rock anthem than a dubstep electronic feat that we typically see in action shows. I much prefer that heavy metal riff going as you're seeing Frankenstein blasting fools left and right. That's something that just tickles my fancy. I love it so much. And every time they get into those riffs, I'm just like ecstatic. I'm definitely going to have to check out the full OST for Noblesse when it's over, because even outside of the anime scenes, you know these are going to be good songs to rock out to. They're just really solid across the board. I thought the animation was absolutely beautiful. There was a lot of dynamic and just kind of creative shots to really make it feel explosive, and you didn't know who was going to win at any particular moment. You knew Frankenstein, when we were looking at him, wasn't going out anytime soon. But there was a lot of creativity with the visual directing, and honestly, like, the second half of this anime has a lot of quality that mirrors the OVA Awakening, which brings a giant grin to everyone's face, because Awakening looked drop dead gorgeous. So to see the TV version of that actually, you know, not completely match it, because an OVA is a little different than a television production, especially in the world of Corona. But we can't deny it looks pretty damn amazing in these action sequences, and honestly, for once again technically being a setup, it was action-packed, it was interesting. And honestly, the sky's the limit for the final episode. I really enjoyed the pacing. I'd say this is one of, if not the strongest Noblesse episodes to date, and depending on where they take the final one, who knows where I'll rank the final episode, all things considered. Let me know your thoughts and feelings though down below, your favorite moment, and where do you think I might go next week? If you enjoyed the video, of course, do like, share, your support, and hit that subscribe button if you happen new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.